Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's been a while since I've been on camera, and excuse my kind of different setup here, trying out some new stuff at a new home and seeing how it goes. Anyways, it is my favorite time of the year, the time where I predict what's going to happen in the DCEU. This universe is insane. Did you know we're going to be there's a possibility of getting 5 DC movies next year? 5. Not even joking, that's a real thing that is happening. It's crazy. This universe is like blowing up, but it has like zero direction still. Every year movies are added, taken away, all sorts of crazy stuff. And that's why this video is so fun for me to do every year. You never know what's going to pop up in my research, so it's really interesting. So as per tradition, here is a list of all the movies that are in some sort of level of production at Warner Brothers for the DCEU. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. This list shrinks, grows, it goes all over the place, just to go with my earlier statement about this universe. Now, before we get into my predictions for these next movies, I do want to give you my ranking of the DCEU so you know where I'm coming from in this sort of video. So here is my current ranking of all the DCEU movies. Alright, are you ready to learn about the future of the DCEU? Let's get into it.
The Batman.
So, already lying right off the bat, because this one isn't a DCEU. This one is a standalone movie in its own universe called The Batman. I've talked about it a few times, but it is worth mentioning. So if you didn't know, it's directed by Matt Reeves, who did Cloverfield and 2 of the Planet of the Apes movies. It's going to be starring Robert Pattinson as Batman, or Robert Battinson. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, Andy Serkis as Alfred, and Colin Farrell as Penguin. That's a pretty feral penguin. Alright, so there is a bit of a synopsis for this movie, so let me give you to that real fast here. In his second year of fighting crime, Batman uncovers corruption in Gotham City that connects to his own family while facing a serial killer known as the Riddler. Now, this is the first in a planned trilogy of Batman movies. Like I said, has nothing to do with any of the DCEU movies. It is a complete standalone thing. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very early Batman, but not Batman Begins, about the second year of Batman. This one looks really cool, looks really dark and kind of sinister. I think it's hinting towards some Court of Owls things, which, maybe good, maybe bad, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But that's kind of what it feels like to me when it says connects to his own family. But they could be doing something different. It's good to see the Riddler and the Penguin not really used terribly too much in Batman movies, so good to see those ones popping up. I like to see that. And yeah, the new Batmobile looks awesome. This is a dark killer universe. I'm interested to see what they do with it, if they decide to try and tie it in with the DCEU and some sort of like universe hopping thing, I don't know. But it'll be interesting, and I'm very excited for it.
Black Adam.
So weirdly enough, I mentioned this one last year just a little bit, but not even listing it. Last year it didn't even have a release date. And this has been in production since 2014. Not even joking, that's a real thing. So Black Adam. So it's going to be directed by Wame Colette Sierra, sorry if I killed that, but they directed Jungle Cruise. It's going to be obviously starring The Rock as Black Adam, Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher, Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Very, very interesting. And there is a synopsis I found for this. Could be true, could not be true. We'll have to wait and find out next year, but here's what I found. He was originally a hero, but after his family was killed, Adam turned to darkness and unintentionally released the demons known as the 7 Deadly Sins. He was imprisoned for his crimes, and Black Adam will see him return from his prison after 5,000 years, determined to return Kadagig to its former glory. I probably mispronounced that kingdom's name. So, as mentioned in Shazam, there was someone else who held the power of Shazam, but went crazy and lost it. That's Black Adam. So this is finally tying into Shazam. It sounds like it's really going to do that in a really interesting way, and bringing in some stuff like Dr. Fate and Hawkman. Atom Smasher is a really weird choice. So I'm really curious what they're going to do with this, what kind of time frame it takes. Atom Smasher makes me think of like 1940s. But Hawkman also says ancient Egypt, so I don't know. It could take place in a lot of places. We didn't get a whole lot from DC fandom on what's going to happen with this, but it's really interesting, really cool. I'm glad to see this come to fruition. Like I said, it's been in production since 2014. So I do think the ending credit scene will link to Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I think this universe is going to be kind of touching back into crossing over with stuff, as we've had nothing but standalone movies since Justice League, and I think that kind of scared them from having like connected movies with other characters. So I think this is time where they're gonna kind of start dipping their toes in it a little bit, and that's gonna be bringing in Black Adam and Shazam to meet each other and to, you know, get a good punch up going. But Black Adam could be good.
The Flash.
Oh boy. Yeah, so this movie was originally supposed to come out in like 2015 or something like that. It was supposed to be the next movie after Justice League was supposed to be The Flash. So that's a thing, and apparently it's finally coming out. We did get to see some footage from DC fandom, so apparently it is actually happening. I'm surprised and floored. And I'm really not excited for this one. Even as myself being a giant Flash fan, I'm not excited for this. Let me tell you why. So it's directed by Andy Muschietti, the guy who did the It movies, which is good. It'll be starring Ezra Miller as the Flash, of course, but then we're gonna get Ben Affleck as Batman, Michael Keaton as Batman, and Sasha Calle as Supergirl. So 2 Batmans and a Supergirl in your Flash movie. The first solo Flash movie of this universe. Are you planning on having any Flash in your Flash movie? And it gets worse. The synopsis I found for it is: Barry Allen travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which brings unintended consequences to his timeline. So they're doing Flashpoint. Not the animated movie Flashpoint. Not the entire season of the Flash TV show Flashpoint, but its own Flashpoint. So yeah, already Flashpoint's been overdone. It's well overdone, and they're just doing that. Second, they're jumping in with the very first solo movie of this Flash to Flashpoint. Do we even, like... The second season of Flash had a beautiful scene where Flash went to Earth 2 and got to hear his mom's voice for the first time since he was a little kid, and it was beautiful and sad, and it was amazing. Because we cared about that, and we knew the backstory, and we knew about all that. Do we care about this Flash? And do we care about this Flash's mom? We haven't heard or said anything about this Flash's mom anywhere in this universe. So, what are we doing here? What's happening? And from the footage, looks like we're getting some traipsing around the multiverse, which was also done in the Arrowverse's Crisis on Infinite Earths. Of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did it, and that's getting its own sequel, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man No Way Home will also be doing that. So by the time this comes out, that's already going to be super played out, the traipsing around the universe thing. So I ask again, what is this? Why is this? Like, can't we just have a regular Flash movie and then build up to Flashpoint? But I guess that's what we're doing now. I'm not very excited for this. I mean, prove me wrong, I guess, but I don't like it. I don't want it. Don't care for it. Next.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
So the basically surprise hit that was Aquaman finally gets its sequel with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So this is going to be directed by James Wan once again, and it's going to get the return of Jason Momoa playing the titular Aquaman. Surprisingly, Amber Heard is returning as Mira, Patrick Wilson as Ocean Master, and Yada Abdul Mateen II as Black Manta. So there's no synopsis for this one that I found yet, but it seems like it's happening. We got some interesting still shots and things. It's still in production, I believe. It might be finished, but it looks like it should be pretty good. My theory on this one is Black Manta is going to be trying to hunt down Aquaman due to the events of the first one, teamed up with the doctor that found him at the end of it, and he's going to find one of the lost kingdoms of Atlantis, and we're going to have a bit of a punch-up there. And I think Aquaman's going to need to team up with Ocean Master to help him out with it, maybe find that lost kingdom or whatever, but I think it's going to be cool. I think this is going to be some fun adventures. I don't expect a lot from it, but that also makes it kind of fun. I don't have high hopes. I don't have low hopes. I just think it's going to be fun, and as long as I'm entertained, I'll be happy with that.
Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
So my once favorite DCEU movie, but it has been replaced by the Suicide Squad, Shazam, is getting its sequel, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Very interesting, very exciting. This is very cool. I can't wait to see more Shazam. So it's going to be directed by David F. Sandberg once again, who directed the first one. Zachary Levi is returning, as well as we're getting the return of the entire Shazam family. We've seen them on set with all their costumes, so we're getting the entire extended Shazam family, and that's very exciting. It's very cool. But we're also getting Helen Mirren as Hespera and Lucy Liu as Calypso, both in the information I found listed specifically as daughters of Atlas. And Atlas is where Shazam gets some of his power. He has the stamina of Atlas. So that tells me there's going to be some battles with the gods, which is kind of confusing because obviously the end of the first Shazam teased Mr. Mind, the little bug guy that's a super genius. Is he going to play into this? Or are they just going to forget that? Are they going to play it off as a joke? Or are they saving that for the Black Adam Shazam team up? I don't know, but I do see him beating up some gods to kind of tie back into Black Adam. I think there is a plan between these two movies to like set up some stuff going on so they can have some crossovers. And I do think the ending credit of this will have Black Adam in it, teaming up, finally showing the next movie will be Shazam Black Adam, or whatever they want to call it. But I think that's going to be what's coming up with this one. I think we're going to see Shazam actually battling some gods. I would hope Mr. Mind would play into this because it's such a stupid, fun idea. I think it'd be great. But, we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for this, and very cool. And yeah, it's the only one past 2020 that we've gotten any information on, so I'm curious where this universe goes from here, but very, very awesome.
Batgirl.
So this one is supposed to come out in 2022, but we don't have a release date yet, so I put it at the end. But this one's kind of interesting because it's a little test that Warner Brothers is doing, and that this is going to be an HBO Max only movie. Like Netflix has movies that are only on Netflix, this will only be on HBO Max. But far as I understand it, it will tie into the DCEU, as we're getting J.K. Simmons back as James Gordon. So that's very interesting. I'm curious to see how this goes, because a lot of the movies that I listed earlier in this video seem to be going that route, and I think they might be able to push more movies out if, if they don't have to release them to theaters, if they can just stream them only. And also maybe it gives them a chance to take some more chances on different characters and, save just the big ones for the screen. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's going to be directed by Adley L. Arby. Sorry, I butchered that. And Bali Fahala. Again, sorry, I messed up both your names. And Leslie Grace will be playing Batgirl, and we'll get Brendan Fraser as Firefly. Very interesting, very exciting. So Brendan Fraser, awesome. I love it. I can't wait to see him in this universe, because I guess Doom Patrol really isn't in this universe, and, we don't see him on screen in Doom Patrol. He's only a voice. So anyways, I think we're going to see Batgirl being inspired by Batman to try and fight crime, having some issues, and takes on a case with Firefly and takes him on, and has to deal with working with her father as Batgirl and not giving away her secret identity as his daughter. And I think it'll be really cool. I think if the right minds are behind it, it could be awesome. I'm very excited to see Batgirl as Barbara Gordon in movies. We've not had that before. We had Batgirl, but it wasn't Barbara Gordon. It was whatever Alicia Silverstone played in Batman and Robin, which wasn't Barbara Gordon. So I'd be curious to see where they go with that. I'm very excited to see what they do with this universe. That it's HBO Max only. It's kind of interesting. So those are the movies that are coming out in the DCEU, and one that will stand alone outside of it. Very excited, very interesting stuff, a lot of stuff coming out next year, because on top of all the movies that are coming out, we're also getting Peacemaker on HBO Max as a show. So not only are we branching out with more movies, but we're also having the HBO Max only movies and then HBO Max TV shows all tied into this universe. It could be good, could be bad. I'm worried that they're biting off more than they can chew, but it also seems like they're taking a bit more of a methodical approach, as well as an approach of letting directors do what they do and do their own best work. Because everything past really Justice League has been like, let the directors do their thing. It works out really well sometimes with like the Suicide Squad, Shazam. Could hit or miss, like, Birds of Prey, or the worst one, Wonder Woman 1984. It could go either way. It's hard to tell, but it's very interesting to see either way. It's an interesting time for the DC world, and I'd love to see where it goes. So what movies are you excited to see? Let me know in those comments below. What movies would you like to see that's on the slate to hopefully come out in 2023 or 2024? Let me know. Hit that thumbs up. Do all the fun stuff. And I will see you guys later. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.